Yo. So in this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 supports currently for Semrah. This will be both for APOC 1 and 2. Um, I will be going over how I'm using them, what I think makes them so good, and just some benefits of building out these champs. So number 5 is a champ that I actually, like before Semrah 2, like I had one use for her, and it was Aelin. Um, all I had her built out for was literally just Codex. She's great in Codex, does a great job healing, and does a great job keeping the team alive. But for the most part, didn't really touch her other than that. She's a cheap cost unit with only being 6, so she can be useful on some newer accounts or like for certain content where you need to get heroes out fast. But for the most part, she only really heals, which is one of the downfalls for her kits. But in Simra, she does have this awesome passive, which is what makes her so viable. When Divine Moonlight reaches 25 stacks, increase healing multiplier by 20%. Additionally, allies in range will receive 10% less damage. This passive is huge. Not only does it book out to 15% when it's fully skilled, but it's just also giving you so much more. Like you're getting it quicker. You're keeping the team up. It's just a great overall passive. Um, and the big thing also with her kit is her range. Her range is so good. It's so much easier to get her to slot in the team. That was essentially why she made my top 5. Was literally just because of her range. Um, I'll go over some honorable mentions and I'll talk to why they didn't make the list, but this was the big deal to get her over into the top 5 for me. I've used her in a ton of the takeovers I've done. She usually is just easy to slot into the team, like I said, just because of that ability, like to reach the whole map. And I think she's just an overall great hero to start building up if you haven't yet. If you guys are one of the people that are starting to work on that second team or try to get another team, keep her in mind for your team for sure. Um, I know a lot of people are running Infernal as well, so if you're running like an Infernal Lord, she fits right in there as well. So definitely a great hero to build up. Next on the list, we have kind of an oddball. It's still a support, but barely, and it's Doomi. So what is Doomi bringing besides no healing at all? Because man, she does like I think it's like usually about like 100,000. After this, we're done reading through her kit. I can go look at my score, but she does so little healing, so she's hardly a support in that aspect. But what she does bring is a reliable cleanse. So initially, when I started using her, I tried the Medan at first. Medan works. Don't get me wrong; she's great. Great budget option. Medan has a few downfalls, and it's one how long it takes to get her ult, which can be critically like poor. Like once you get like higher scores, like you need to start having that cleanse right away, and that's why I chose Doomi over her initially. And then also it's Medan's range. Medan just doesn't have the range to cleanse the whole board. Generally, you're missing out maybe one unit. If you do, if you can get the full cleanse, you have to like use a certain amount of characters for which Doomi just makes it a lot more flexible. Just because you can hit that whole entire map for the cleanse. So that's one of the reasons she made on the list. Another thing she's bringing is inspiration. Um, it's not a whole lot. Dolores is 40%. She is 20%, so she's half the inspiration that Dolores is giving, but it is some bonus damage in there. It's not going to be like I said, like the biggest like Dolores cleanse or inspiration, but it's going to help your team out, push out a little bit more damage. I know in Codex, that's why like so many teams you're seeing the scores go up and up. It's just because characters like this that are bringing that as well. It's some more damage, and it's great to have on the team. Her magic incense, this is her cleanse. So if the bear's HP is above 50%, dispels one debuff per second. Otherwise, restores their HP based on their max HP and the caster's attack per second. Like I said, this multiplier has to be in the gutter because her healing is little to nothing. So I'll go look at this real quick. So this is my APOC 1 team. HP healed 300,000 compared to like the 4 million or 3 million, so significantly less than those. And that's a somewhat long fight, so she's not doing much in that aspect, but she rips those debuffs off, and that's why I use her. Number 3 on the list, we go into. This one was hard for me because I had two options here, and I was back and forth between choosing through them both. You've probably seen these top 3 on most of the meta teams. It is Furcy. I still don't know if this is the right choice, but I put her at number 3. She does so much, but it's just like I feel like that difference between 2 and 3 is just so significant. If you don't have number 2, you're not seeing a whole lot of teams push that high. But Furcy, I think, can be dropped from the team, but you will be losing quite a bit. So what does Furcy bring? First off, she actually heals. She's a healer that heals. It's not like I said, the most significant amount of healing, but she does heal. Her ult brings not only healing, but it also is another champ that brings more inspiration. So she's also bringing the 20% inspiration when fully booked, and this is to 3 allies. With the highest attack for 10 seconds, so not really a long inspo either. But one thing I was doing to maximize my damage on some fights was, so I would use Constance, I would use her buff, like her inspiration buff, and then when that was downfall, then I would proc Furcy's ult just for the inspo. Like early stages, you just need the damage, just cycle those between those two, and I guarantee you will see a little bit more damage there. Because if you're like one of those pushing like one of those meta teams and you're trying to push those high scores, you have to do little things just like that just to get that damage up. But the big thing on her kit, I think what everyone is using for her is her passive, and is allies, or applies AoE damage reduction to all allies in range. And this is, I think it is 25%. Massive AoE damage reduction, which is definitely needed for Semrah. She does such a good job keeping everyone healthy. For the most part, when I run her on like one of the late game teams I've been running for people, it's like that meta Praetus team. I'm not really taking a bunch of damage until I start like hitting like 80,000 score, and like I think it's big time due to her. Also, what else is she bringing in the kit? That's more AoE damage reduction and better healing, and then just the attack-based healing. So yeah, overall, insanely good champ. You're getting incredible value for Guild Boss now. She's incredible in Codex. So if you have a Furcy or you pulled her recently, definitely get to building her right away. She's worth the skill crystals as well. Just an overall incredible healer for your account. Definitely worth the spot on the list. And like I said, she could have been number 2. It was a hard toss-up between this one and who is next on the list for me is Carnelian. So Carnelian is doing another one of those things that is something only she can do, and that is the cheat death. So when receiving fatal damage, the bearer consumes the soul essence and becomes unyielding for 5 seconds. This is massive if you're trying to push those top scores, because I'm sure a lot of you have been in the situation where you get hit by some like random rock or some RNG from Semrah comes and you just lose a champ. This saves so many runs for me. I can't even begin to tell you. I know a lot of people that don't have her right now are just struggling on APOC 2 to push those high scores. It's mostly due to not having Carnelian. Is it possible? Yes. Is it much harder? Yes. I imagine a lot of people are just going crazy just because they're getting hit with some random RNG here and there. That she basically deletes that option. Yes, later on, once you do lose those soul essence, you still have the fun of getting that, but if you begin to learn how to use her correctly and really learn how to use her ult, you could almost grant like maximum uptime of these soul essence. Especially like once you're in the poison phase, it's really easy to start getting these on everyone. You just wait just a tiny bit till you take some damage, pop her ult, and boom, everyone's got the orb. So Other than that, she brings some healing. It's a little bit better than Doomi, I'd say. Let's go look at it real quick. We'll just look at some of the top scores because I know they're all using her. Yeah, so only... Oh no, here it is. Yeah, so it's something there. It's definitely more than Doomi, but not to the levels of like the other healers for sure. So you do get that. Also, she can do damage. Forgot to look at that as well. She has an AOE burst that she does. It's not significant, but I think she does a couple million for usually for damage. Yeah, 4 million, almost constant. But yeah, just like I said, it was between her and Percy the toss up for number 2. Okay, and on to the number 1 champ for Semrah Guild Boss. I think everyone kind of expects this. If you don't have this champ, you're kind of hurting. It's Elowen. Um, Elowen just brings so much. It's actually insane to me how good this champ is still. So first off, you have her cleanse. We'll go over that here in a second. I guess I can just show it right now. Her cleanse is so good, and what a lot of people don't know, or might not know, is her area of cleanse. So when you do her cleanse, you have an extended area, which I can just show here real quick. Or down. That is her whole area to cleanse. So you have increased area for cleanse. It's essentially like the even better, honestly, than like the Doomi and stuff range because you can go behind as well. So increased area there, absolutely massive. Following up the cleanse, you have insane healing. Like we can while we're out here, we can go look at just some stats of the L1 healing. It's probably going to be the most on most teams. We go in here. Top healer, Elwyn. Top healer, Elwyn by a mile. Top healer, Elwyn. It's just so much there. She's got the Treant to assist her healing. The other day I was doing a run where I just kind of screwed up and I wasn't paying attention when I was setting everybody. And I set somebody out of range of Elwyn. And I literally kept that person alive with a Treant the whole entire fight. It worked out just because of her ability. Like, so you have that extra Treant that you can place anywhere on the map, so you could cross map heal as well. And then to kick it all off, you have Rage Boost for all allies. It's not just all allies in her range, it's all over the map. So her ability to just single-handedly support is absolutely insane. Like I said, if you don't have her, you're definitely hurting. You're just missing so much. Like, for instance, my APOC 1 team is Doomi, Hollow, and then another healer. So I have to have 3 healers literally to do what she's doing by herself. So I have the cleanse from Doomi, the rage regen from Hollow, and then like healing from. I think I use Vortex on my team as well because I'm using Northerner. So all that stuff, Elwyn's doing essentially by herself. So then I get to add 2 other supports like the Carnelian or the Fursies that also give me the additional healing, but then are just like solo specialists. Like the Fursies just gives the whole team survivability, and then Carnelian obviously gives the cheat death mechanic. So it's a lot to be missing her. So she's definitely number 1. I don't think there's any people that will question that. If you do, you're crazy. Simple as that. And then let's go to honorable mention. There's one big one. I know I didn't have her at number 5, and there's a caveat. The only reason I didn't have her at number 5 is Sadie. She does an incredible job keeping your team alive. She has the physical damage reduction and the magic damage reduction for the allies in range, which is her big issue. If she had Aelin range, she would, hands down, like, it wouldn't even be close. She would be that much better than Aelin. Sadie doesn't do a whole lot of healing. And I say that is just like the base level Sadies. Where will you see Sadie healing a lot is when you have the exclusive artifact for Sadie. Let's go look at There's great examples of world in here. One of these guys didn't have it. Okay, so we go look at this one. You got your Sadie doing 5 million healing. You have your Elowen doing 10, and you got Firsty doing 6. So about half as good as Elowen, essentially. Then we go into a Sadie team. This Sadie has the artifact. You have A5 Elowen, A5 Sadie. Boom. 20 million healing. Absolutely insane how powerful her artifact is. It is so strong. So, like, if you're one of those people that have her artifact, definitely use her over Aelin. If you can get the range to work. That's like I said, the biggest issue is her range. Getting the whole team in range of her. Because you usually have like one person going down, like depending on where you place her, or if you want to do her in the middle of the map, you're cleansing, or you have to have constants. I don't know. There's just a lot to work around getting Sadie into a team. Like if you have constants and you don't have to worry about getting Dolores on the field, which saves a lot of the hassle. So it's just it's a little more complicated, should I say? But Sadie, that doesn't take anything away. She's great here. If you have her, she's still definitely worth booking for here. And then, like I said, if you have her artifact, there's no question she should be on one of your teams. Because she does so much. But yeah, that's all for this one. I'm gonna do a video on DPS, top DPSs. I'm gonna do some honorable mentions in there as well that I think you should build. And then I'm also gonna do one on like I don't know what I'm going to title yet. It's going to be like your additional add-on heroes, like your stunners, or just people that bring something to the team that most other champs don't. Like, Lucius would be on that list where he debuffs people, or Helga's probably going to be on that list because she's going to be so good at stunning, or just somebody in debuff wise that is just bringing a whole lot to the team that I think could be really great for a lot of people pushing higher in APOC 1 or 2. But yeah, that's all for this video. Let me guys know if you have any questions. Let me guys know what you think on my takes. I'm sure we'll have a great conversation about some of the champs. Maybe I didn't mention somebody that you think I should have. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. That's all for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later. Went with her.